My family story is inseparable from the story of my country, even though I've never really lived there. We moved around a lot, and I grew up in exile because of the war. My father founded the Sudan People's Liberation Movement, the SPLM, in 1983, with my mother by his side. He led an armed struggle against an Islamic fundamentalist government based in the north of the country for the self-determination of the people in the south and democratic transformation of the whole country. It was a civil war characterized by ethnic as well as religious differences, with a majority of people in the north identifying as Arab and Muslim, and a majority of people in the south identifying as African and Christian.
Our enemies have always presented the case as a case between Muslims and Christians, between Southerners and Northerners. Our new model says that Sudan is 100%. We have been unable to forge a Sudan that belongs to all of us. People have been saying that Sudan is an Arab country. Others say no, it is not an Arab country, it is an African country. Others say, oh no, it is not. It is neither of the two. It is an Afro-Arab country. And others say, oh no, it is not that way even. It is an Arabo-African country.
Let us also drop these crazy ideas that we must all be Arabs. Even God will not accept this. In his infinite wisdom, it is this same God that made the Arabs, that made the Nuba, that made the Fur, that made the Dinka, that made the Nubians, that made the Bija, that made the Shuluk, that made all the 500 different ethnic groups in the Sudan. And who is this to amend God's creation? The amendment, I would say, is against God. I will win this case.
In 2005, the SPLM and the Sudanese government signed an historic peace agreement.
As we end this war today, we believe that a new Sudan is possible. Instead of the pain of the last 21 years of war, peace will bless us once more.
My father became vice president. It looked as though he was going to deliver on the promise of the liberation struggle. People were elated, full of hope. But it didn't last long.
On the morning of July 31st, 2005, the world woke up to the shocking news of the death of Dr. John Garang. He had been sworn in as the first vice president of Sudan, becoming the second most powerful person in the country.
My father spent 21 years at war and died after 21 days in office. We toured the country as a family with my father's body. I'll never forget the sound of despair that started from a distance and rumbled like it was coming from the earth. My mother became a widow the year she turned 50. I was 16. Through her grief, she didn't only have a family to hold together. People began to call her Mother of the Nation. Soon after we lost my father, my mother started sharing her dreams and fears with me, always in the early hours of the morning. I decided to start filming our morning conversations.
This photo is 1977. This picture. And that baby is Mabior. Yeah.
Let me see.
Huh?
Let's see it.
You want me to bring it out?
No, it's okay.
Yeah. And this is my daughter Akuol.
When was that?
When you were 20.
Now I'm growing old.
For me, you are still my child. I don't know where I put the Nyakwel's photos. Oh,
Your mom.
My mother.
Mm-hmm. The girl with the long neck.
Yeah, the girl with the long, beautiful neck. Even you have long neck, but not like Nyankwer.
Yeah.
And this picture is 1985. Look at your mom.
That's your iconic photo.
Yes, it is. I pray hard, my daughter, to see, while I'm still alive, a prosperous nation. That's what I want. That's how I wanted to leave my children. I didn't want to leave them in a country where people are divided into pieces, even to their own core.
6 years after we lost my father, the people of the South voted to separate from Sudan in a referendum, and a new country was born, South Sudan. We flooded the streets with renewed hope and a new home.
A nation is born. The scene in South Sudan is nothing less than electric.
Just 2 years after independence, we fell back into another civil war. The struggle no longer for freedom, but a power struggle within our own government.
Tonight we begin with claims of an attempted coup in South Sudan.
As a victim who have lost a beloved person, is this really what we fought for, what we are doing today? If things are not going the way we were really waging our struggle, I will not keep quiet. Because
My mother was forced back into exile for speaking out against a leadership that she had spent decades in struggle with.
Another agreement aimed at peace in South Sudan. They say this time the deal that provides for, among other things, 5 vice presidents and 550 members of parliament will hold.
After a series of failed attempts to restore peace, an agreement was reached in 2018. And now we find ourselves holding our breath.
akin ke chala ne long koi wan tar bai ke kai nyin kwany ene chol koi ka Africa ke wona chol igat ko Africa Union ke chol la ngere pa ni na lo nya le ala ngana ene bi yen ko nanga ba lo yen ba kwen junu pe nga ka ra chanan chi ke chama chi adak ke chama le ba lo e chi na la ka pa ni mana wo chi ju ba wo yu to wo chi badang ye chi nya le nda la tung ti den cha yo en gob de ela tung ko chi ka ba ga me chen benen ka rej bra ba loy ara na ki abin nya le jabe be do ma kiri ai bin nya le do ma kiri ko ke abu dubai ko ka abu dubande amen
bay do piwo bay do piwo bay mat piwo bay mat piwo mat ko ka junu Sudani ka dia mat ko ka junu Sudani ka dia yena ka tie do nyal wo ye tanga ju wai ko ju nyaay junu Sudan wo ye tanga ju wai ko ju nyaay junu Sudan nerin ka un ko wa ko jong di la jet nerin ka un ko wa ko jong di la jet amen Yakoba Jongra Abutwawe Yarawa Ngaliyeju Tawata Nayene Yakoba Jongra Abutwawe Yarawa Ngaliyeju Tawata Nayene Yakoba.
The new peace agreement planted the possibility of my mother joining a government of national unity with a deadline for it to be formed in November 2019. After years in exile, we came home. This is home, the land my father gave his life to, land to which I feel duty bound. In South Sudan, My father's image surrounds us. We imagine and remember different versions of him, transform him into the hero we can't be. The day he died is now Martyr's Day. He is our founding father, our departed father of the liberation struggle. What about our mother who is here?
My family is my world. I don't access the world without them. I even told you that you put Sudan first and we come second. And he said, Man Mabior, this is unfair. I love my family. I said, no. I'm the one who loves our family. I wanted my husband for myself. But the way our people were being mistreated, it hurts me. I came out with a decision that God has given me that I had to help him, to help our people, to liberate our people.
Can Emma film in the car with you? Last time. Ever.
Tell Mabior when he comes.
Okay, I will.
It cannot be ever.
Okay.
You
Emma will
never
come
know.
back
You
when
never
you're
know.
president.
My goodness.
Do I have to keep quiet about that?
No, I don't even dream about it.
Why?
No,
Why?
God says that we should get content with what we have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But you continue advising because my children will come to the politics.
Which ones?
Akuol, Mabior, Nyankwir.
Nyankwir.
Three of you.
I think Nyankwir is at the top
Even
of
at
the list.
Even at
Atong is last.
Mabior is for the girls, Nyankwir.
Why
Even
for the
you.
girls?
For the girl, Nyankwir. You say the
Out
least.
of all of us,
But you are
Nyankwir.
You are there also. Because what you are doing here is politics.
Is it?
It is. You register history. It's politics.
It's political.
It's political. Until now, when it comes out, it's politics. Politics when you talked about it.
Yeah.
But political, it is when you thought of it and you start to do it.
When you use it
Yeah. And
to
when
do
you-
something with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I vote. If I have to vote for a sibling,
I know you vote for Nyankwir.
I vote for Nyankwir, yeah. My phone. Let it just cry. Hello, I'm coming. Yeah.
5,200. one there.
Oh.
What will you take?
Take shy.
Okay. I'm Lena Shy. I'm Lena Shy. Then for her Shy.
There, Nana? Okay. Second.
Where all of us, we need to heal him.
Yeah, absolutely.
For example, the death of Dr. John is a tragedy to your family, but more tragic to the nation.
I don't know. I don't think that we can compare it because we as a family constantly had to release ourselves. Yeah.
But to the nation, okay, it's more tragic.
Because it's on a bigger scale.
Yeah, bigger scale. Because everybody here is feeling that.
Because I told you that I applied to Jamajuba, and I applied for peace and development studies. So I said I would rather study peace than conflict, right?
Yes.
And how this unhealed, constant trauma upon trauma can continue to cause instability politically and can halt peace. It's like, because the leadership is also traumatized. It's not just the people.
By the time you go through that course and they know this is the daughter of the John, get a different impression in the mind of people, where people used to believe that Jamajuba doesn't mind or it's nothing. Yes. But now, if the child of Dr. John can come and go through this, it means that they believe in our own local institution.
Exactly.
And that will make them to think, okay, you have the access to go to any prestigious university to go and do your master's, but you should do it at home. By itself, it is a credit.
Following Yankwir from behind the camera, she seems so sure-footed. When the Civil War broke out, she quit her job to help our mother. She's giving our new country her vote of confidence. It's as though she's laying down the one brick she has and hoping that more will follow. An act of courage. I don't have as much. I admire her. When I look around Juba, our capital, I see abandoned construction, abandoned hope. Right now, we're at peace, but it's tenuous. There aren't many viable ways to make a living, because our economy is so dysfunctional, our currency volatile and inflated. I also see the blue chairs that dot the streets from these small tea shops. Most of them set up and run by women, some very young. They're trying to find a way. I admire them too.
Ajan war chawa lel kabinga la duel gang de tar ko wan ngaga cha la duel gang de tar kuna chi kodi kayen ka loy ka agatin daga pu ka duon che krat tay non tar bang ma di ga de we di ga we ga chi dor ka duon to non chu ba kodi ga de na cái nghĩ mà nó con chào ghê lu hoài ơi mà hoài đó cái đợt cái bài đợt có cái ghê hoài thôi là nó chắc bé đúng rồi liệu.
It's been a series of delays and even more frustration for the African Union. The formation of the unity government is long overdue. It is crucial the new government works. Only then will South Sudan emerge from the chaos of war.
The deadline for government formation has come and gone, making the tenuous peace more fragile and the weight heavier.
Unda kangara ye weng tung cha kia kabinda ye nuwe angayo lo ye weng tung kira kia unda kangara ye weng tung cha kia kabinda ye nuwe angayo unda na kangara na kalpe charanta rabe mantaro na pe ma undi we rum dire ka rum tingra ma je ga veranda ke lo ganyir kanya we kinamar. Okay. Take this.
We're all waiting for things to get better, for a stronger peace and stability. But waiting for me at my mother's house is worlds apart from waiting elsewhere in the capital and beyond. It seems impossible to reconcile our experiences, our privilege compared to the overwhelming lack that surrounds us, our traditions and modernity. My mother embodies this paradox. Like my father, she grew up poor with few opportunities. I recognize her ambition because I have some myself. She encouraged it. She also insisted that my sisters and I learn how to cook, clean, take care of children, so that someday we'd make good wives and mothers. There never seemed to be a contradiction between these things for her. For me, I'm struggling to reconcile being ambitious, being a woman, and being from South Sudan. So now I wanted to ask, with all these kids on the table, I think I haven't asked you what you want for your children.
But my answer, you will not like it.
It's okay, I want to hear it.
I want my children to grow up, finish their education, find their partners, but now they're just refusing to do that. And then I wanted to have my grandchildren when I'm still young, so that they know how their grandmother looked like, not at the old age.
What about for the country?
The country? For this country? For the kids?
Yeah.
They will do their own finding, like what we did. You will do your own finding because you are coming from a political family. For the country, I know you have that heart, and you can do it. You can serve your people in many capacities, not only being a president. Even if you are teaching at the university, it's also service to your people.
And do you feel like the country has the capacity
to hold young people's dreams?
The issue is not the country, the issue is the leaders. Are the leaders ready to allow the young people to dream about their country? I would say for the time being, no.
Do we have to wait until that leadership is gone?
You know, nothing is stagnant. Nothing is stagnant. Those leaders will come and they will go.
South Sudan الشخصيات المهمة من الأوبوزيشن. السلام عليكم.
With me rejoice. And to begin with, here are Republican decrees. This 21st day of the month of February in the year 2020 AD. Signed, Salva Kiir Mayardit, President, Republic of South Sudan, Juba. Republican decree number 18 for the year 2020 for the appointment of the Vice Presidents of the Republic of South Sudan 2020 AD and shall come into force on the date of its signature by the President of the Republic. The decree, it reads, the exercise of the powers conferred upon me under Article 101G of the Transitional Constitution of the Republic of South Sudan 2011 as amended, I, Salva Kiir Mayardit, President of the Republic of South Sudan, do hereby issue this Republican decree for the appointment of the Vice Presidents of the Republic of South Sudan as follows. His Excellency Dr. James Waniga, Vice President. His Excellency Taban Dengai, Vice President. Her Excellency Rebecca Nyandeng Garang, Vice President.
You should have been here to hear with us.
By the President of the Republic.
Atong is there?
Decree. It reads.
Atong is there, Nyankur is there. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I need a lot of help from you people.
I remember just days before my father was sworn in as vice president, gathering the courage to ask my parents if everything was going to be okay. It sounds innocent, but I grew up with a sense of duty that left no room for doubt, that made it difficult to ask such questions. I'm afraid for her now.
I didn't know that I was going to be a politician because I didn't like it. Because politicians seem to be liars. And I don't like lying. My face in the government is not only my face, but John Garang. And I must be careful. What a very small mirror. Last time we had the same thing. You should now be buying bigger one. We cannot work alone. We need those ministers to be appointed. But there is still, because of the selection, I think, it is still a sticking point. They are fighting over the ministries, and I'm far from it. Because they just wanted to throw me the women, gender, social welfare, humanitarian. Let her go with it. They wanted to see the ministries where the dollars are flying. But they don't know that human resource is the primary resource for the nation. And I'm happy with it. Later, when they see that we are popular, they will run and say that I'm making a coup against them.
Tonight, the world's newest nation, barely 3 years old, is in turmoil. And my guest today, the wife of the former leader of the Sudan People's Liberation Movement, SPLM. There was an attempted coup attempt last December, and she was accused as one of the masterminds by South Sudan's President Salva Kiir.
What they call coup, there was nothing called coup. I don't have an army. They say the fish rot from the head. Why are we blaming people down here and we are not blaming the head? So Salva Kiir is responsible for everything what is happening in Southern Sudan. It is time for him to realize and admit that he made a mistake. I swallowed the bitterness of the death of my husband, and I stood up for the people of Southern Sudan. Why can President Salva stand up and swallow whatever he called bitterness to save the life of people of Southern Sudan? I pray that God forgive us for the mistake we made against you and the mistakes that we made against ourselves.
What brought it about?
When we differed with the government, the whole government was second except President Salva. So I was advisor to the president. My position was there, but I was against what we were doing as the SPLM, as a ruling party. So, and I talked with the president many times, and the president was not giving an ears to this. Instead, they were taking me as enemy. So he was against me. Why am I saying that there was no coup? He said that I should have said that there was coup so that these people, those up a gun, to be killed. And I will not accept that. So I was against that. And I was against the direction we were taking as SPLM. But socially, I don't have any grudges against him. But politically, yes, I was not happy with the way he was taking things. Yeah.
Do you think there are people who still haven't forgiven him?
Yeah. There are. But these people are not godly people. If God can forgive us, who are you not to forgive another? And hold grudges for how long? It's heavy. Love is lighter. I don't know how this interview is going to come. Interviewing me while my hair is being cut.
It's going to be so nice.
Really?
I have a package. Can you put it by your feet?
You're rolling? Oh, hang on. You have to put your thing under your arm like a roller coaster.
Hell. Safety? Be damned. I'm so glad we're leaving now so that I don't have to deal with the teftish later.
Yeah,
they're not actually that bad. It's just, I think I had anxiety. I developed anxiety.
It's a bunch
after
of
the
people
first
with
time.
guns on the road.
Yeah, men, not
for a
just
few
people, men.
stops.
There was a time we were going with Guk was driving. It was me, Guk, and Akuol in the car, and the main bridge was closed, so we had to take another road. So these guys, I think they weren't used to us, and they saw us, and they were like, yeah. They were so drunk. Who are you? I don't know where you're going. Like, oh, we're just going here to Crown Hotel. He was like, I want to come with you. I want to stay in your room with you. And Gak was like, no. I'm going home to my husband. You really have to make up stories to protect yourself. And the guy almost tried to get into the car when it was one other guy who was like, don't be ridiculous.
Where's that guy all the time?
Yeah.
The Teftish Diaries.
Teftish Diaries. I came up with a song. Fuck the Teftish coming straight from the underground. NWA.
Yes.
There's always a way.
Let's go. Is this a wig?
No, it's my Afro puff. This is how I achieve my look.
Gosh, the secrets are here. Secrets are here in the house.
This is where I become undone. Into a ditch, just playing. Roses really smell like poo-poo.
Yeah, it's fine.
Wow, you look so regal.
Really?
Yeah.
I felt like I
You look like Marge Simpson.
Oh, is it? I like.
So when I first came to Juba, I feel like I would cry almost every time. Like, I was so sensitive. It was all of these things that I had to come to terms with, like moving back here, not speaking the language, trying to kind of fit in, I was so conflicted. I didn't even know if I wanted to. It was tough. There were times when I didn't even want to wake up because I didn't even have a job. So I didn't know what I was doing. So I'd go to Mama crying, like, Mama, I don't know what's wrong with me. And like, I couldn't even talk to people, like communicating. So I'd cry, and I know that Mama would be like, everything's going to be okay, and she'd say the right things. But this time, I don't know why, I just asked her, Mama, I always come to you crying like this, but has Baba ever cried for you like this? And she was like, yeah, one time. I don't know what happened. I think he was under a lot of pressure. And she said that he cried in her arms for like 5 minutes, just crying. I was like,
when they were much younger, older?
It was during the movement days, so it must have been later in
80s or 90s.
Yeah. And I told somebody that story, and they were like, what?
Not our leader.
Mabior.
I remember thinking to myself, if anything were to happen to him, I could manage. Like, I could survive that, losing him. But if anything were to happen to Mama, I couldn't survive that. And then I remember like scolding myself for even thinking something like that.
Sometimes I forget his face. Sometimes. I mean, it's there on the paper, right? On the money, everywhere. But like how it animates.
Mm-hmm. Oh, anyway.
I told myself that if anything kicks off again, I'm not going to be away. If shit's happening, I'm going to be close to Mama. If there's any kind of insecurity, because 2013, I remember sitting by the TV sleeping every day. I was like, is Mama going to make it home? Is she going to make it? I was terrified. I think that trauma kind of stayed with me, but I think that's maybe the decision. Maybe that was the decision that I took to come to Juba. Because I said, I'm never going to let it happen that I'm away from Mama and there's some shit kicking off in Juba or wherever it is that is kicking off. I said, I'm going to be there.
Fear is one of the things that we've learned to live with. The fear of losing our parents. It's like an inheritance. Finding purpose in the liberation struggle is another inheritance. And as a child, I felt that I could make small contributions to it by staying out of the way, not complaining, remaining silent about my fears. That's how I made sense of things. And it all made sense. until my father died. Things haven't made sense since. I've stumbled along, trying to figure out who I am and where I fit in beyond my inheritance. Right now, I'm unmarried, unemployed, living in my mother's house, a failure by many standards. I thought that I was making this film for my mother, my family, my country. All this by searching for what it means to call South Sudan home. But I'm starting to think it has more to do with fear.
Come and help me carrying it.
Okay.
Now it's getting heavy.
Okay.
I used to be overprotective. If my child fall, I will run. Hey, hey, don't do that. But he should be allowed to
fall.
To fall and
fail.
Because they all say that you don't fall from far. The ground is near to you when you are a child. Unlike big person. The bigger person is far from the ground.
So you need to make less mistakes the older you get?
Yeah.
She was determined to provide a better life for us, her children. And she did.
You cut from here. Can you even cut that way and then you put it on the ground and it will grow. Unlike this one.
Pili hoho. You have to plant the seed?
This one is cucumber.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's a pretty plant.
Look at the mango tree.
Oh, okay. Everything.
We planted more mango trees the other day.
She found a way to provide, even after losing her husband.
This is Radio SPLA, the voice of the Sudanese Revolutionary Armed Struggle.
وزول ما عاوز يفارق مع مرة بتوعه يا بقول ناس ماشيين في البور ومرة بتاعي يا هو مستقبل بتاع بلد بتاعنا لكن الشيء أنا عاوز نقول ونحن كلنا نفهم الحل ده طرد بتاع العدو عشان بلد يكون بتاعنا ونعمل شغل بقى جو تيجي قد يجينا أنت بشوف لكاد 200 كان تردو جلابة كان تردو عدو ياهو حل كامل عشان انت بقعد في بيت بتاعك هسه ما في حاجة تاني بيجي بينك والعائلة والشغل
Good question.
I was going to ask why you chose not to remarry.
Who? Me?
It's a question that I wouldn't think to ask, but someone else might think to ask.
Marry who?
I'm still the wife of your father. Why marry? Marry what?
Some people get remarried.
And that's up to them, but not up to me. For me, one man only. No. I'm still in love with your father, and his spirit is around me all the time. Yeah. I don't get this Bible saying that until death do us part. No. It's not in my vocabulary. I want to marry to my husband until I go. Yeah. I love only one man. I don't see others like men. It's only him who's a man for me. The other ones, some of them, I see them like boys.
You and the grown ones?
Yeah, I don't see them like that.
Even your colleagues and age mates?
Nobody behave like my husband.
Our last oath of office will be administered to the third Vice President, Her Excellency Rebecca Nyandeng de Mabior.
I, Rebecca Nyandeng de Mabior,
do hereby swear by Almighty God
do hereby swear by Almighty God
that as the Vice President
that as the Vice President
of the Republic of South Sudan,
of the Republic of South Sudan,
I shall be faithful
I shall be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the Republic of South Sudan.
to the Republic of South Sudan.
And so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Your Excellency Rebecca.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. To the citizens of our great republic, mainly the internally displaced, I am addressing you today for the first time as one of the vice presidents brought in this position by the revitalized peace agreement on the resolution to the conflict in South Sudan. My fellow South Sudanese, in the valleys of these vast lands, from the swamp land of Greater Upper Nile to the sloped mountains of Greater Equatoria, lies the bones and flesh of our heroes, including our founding father, Dr. John Garang de Mabior. The price for our freedom has been high. We have failed as leaders and brought to you this unnecessary war. Although these are the most segregated times in our young country history, we must, in the spirit of peace today, unite together and move forward as one people.
How are you feeling when you were sworn in?
Until even now, I'm thinking of how to begin. What are we to do? Because the expectation is immense, is vast, the expectation of the people. And we as leaders, we should be sitting down and think about it. That what we received that day is not a pride, it's not a prestige, but a challenge. People of South Sudan are watching us.
After the swearing in, new questions are taking over. What is the vision beyond the struggle? Everywhere I look, I see nations falling apart after liberation, after independence, after the war is won. Look at the short history of our country. A civil war 2 years after independence, and no end to the instability in sight. My mother stepping into the role that my father died in will not be history repeating itself. She's not going to be a martyr of the liberation struggle. She will more likely be remembered for what she does in this new position.
The result of an ongoing sub-national violence and revenge attacks since February this year. Most of those affected are said to be also in emergency acute food insecurity phase. The region in South Sudan witnessed similar flooding last year that affected 1 million persons and destroyed 73,000 metric tons of grains.
Nice meeting you. Good to bring Nigeria to my house.
Mama Rebecca, this is Dundee cake from Bob, who has sadly left the country.
I wanted to thank Chief of General Staff and his team, and I'm also glad as their mother. Those people are not new for me. These are my children. As a mother of this country, I'm happy to see them visiting me, assuring me that, Mama, we are with you.
You just hit the ground running, and your cluster is very demanding. And there are a lot of expectation, including me.
We in Nigeria, of course, share a lot of similarities, and we have also gone through a lot of the challenges that you are going through.
Thank you. Food for thought. Thank you. Okay. Shukran.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Congratulations, Mama. Hey.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to President's office. Monday. Morning. Monday. I hope that none of you is fighting me.
The war is over, Mr. President. Over.
She's doing documentary.
Okay, she's an expert.
Yeah. The team.
The team. Zola. Renu Mike business.
Going from meeting to meeting with my mother, and being kicked out of meeting after meeting. I'm reminded of how things were kept from us when we were kids, to protect us. Seems like it's still happening now. Being the children of freedom fighters turned politicians has meant living in a bubble. At times, it feels unstable, like a target, always on the verge of rupture. Other times it feels comfortable and secure, and we feel guilty about that. Because right outside, people are suffering.
South Sudan is facing the worst economic crisis since independence. The local currency is depreciating daily against the dollar, and the Central Bank of South Sudan says its reserves are depleted due to years of civil war and the impact of the coronavirus. Many Juba residents say they are now unable to afford basic goods.
مشاكل تمنا نسوان كتير إيان درم أجر مدرسة أنا درا كيلومون أيام بجاي رجال تنا سوكل نسيا زي ما في سوكل تاوكما ده ما في ودي جروز الناس
Watching my who quite cool will dump the water the moon. And I tell you home and machine may go by. Có coi thuốc đó. Hiện kia này la luyện cái nào mít đâu. When I walk you out jump the chin may put on. They come with okay. We get by Ben.
To tell you the truth, I'm worried. People are coming to enrich themselves. If you go to the mind of people when we're in the room, oh, good. My other people are saying, oh, that person has been put in that position. Now is our person. He or she will do this for us, and I will get the position and like that. This is what has been going on in my mind. To tell you the truth, that's how I feel.
This is ANN News Brief.
Heavy rains and severe flooding have hit South Sudan's Jonglei region. Water level has reportedly risen to 1.5 meters, destroying many homes. An assessment by United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs says an estimated 157,000 persons have already been displaced.
Nyankwer organized a mission to survey what people are calling the worst floods in our recorded history. They've intensified existing problems. Over 100,000 people have lost their homes and livelihoods, and many more have been affected.
Quiz? Which way mountain, Mama?
Watch a mom, watch a board, one mouth. A do dory to guru humping. Watching Kayu walk at that while I watch a jar. I watch a mom. Watch a mom now, no, couldn't go you walk the away, me walk away, but what ping. One more, me are more watching. Me are more watching. Manakaria Liuban, Goyaka Chamku, Goyati and Konya Martin, Goya Latin, Goya me watching. I really even. Can get talk on a walk.
Of the floods. It's still getting worse. It's not going to subside, and even the aftermath might even be. We need to document it now, and then also after when the waters start to recede.
My goodness.
Some areas you can identify small islands of higher ground, but there's some areas like this where it was completely flooded, as far as you can see. And you can see over here, this is the road. This is what would be the road.
This is our village. You know it, you walked last time there.
Yeah.
Look at this woman, they're sitting in the water, selling her things.
Yes.
People have to survive.
Yeah. Nice. So life was still going on. People were still continuing, but there's still.
So there's no home?
No home.
Yes, no
Because, that's why I want this thing to be documented, because there are some people who are sitting in Juba here, and they are saying that people should have moved to high ground. It is to the east, the people can go. Where is the east here?
And there's more to be done, Mama, as we continue to go up the Nile, it continues.
We need to do it, because people are talking about Khartoum now, and the floods in those places, but the flood in the south is not being played in the international media. And these are the people of South Sudan. Our request from the cabinet, if there will be a time that this thing can be played. Wow, my heart is just, it has taken everything in.
I couldn't sleep when we got back the first night. I struggled to fall asleep.
It is really
Now what I will do, if these people can leave me, I want to make a phone call. Can Akuol team leave me? Because I want to make some phone call.
Okay. Tents. These are tents. So now these people in Mangala are just camping in the bush in open air. So this tent for 8 people will be it's like a house. So it's going to be so good. I'm just so happy that they've given us 20 pieces. Imagine. So that's 160 people that can stay.
And these are people who are recently
displaced by the floods. Yeah. I think so. This is some tomato puree, sharia. It's amazing things. We just pack beans and rice.
I'm learning from Yankwir about our country. She's showing me how the question of home is national and historical, because more people are displaced than are settled in South Sudan.
Well, don't usually trust giving stuff to the government, and even us, somebody like Mama, who people already trust, they still don't trust giving to the government because we have a history of looting our own resources. So they would rather do it through the humanitarian agencies, which themselves have their own issues. And I hope they give us more, because really, if it was up to me, I would take buy all of this medication, take all of this stuff just straight to Mother. But what we have is more is going to be a good start.
You can walk away from me.
You gonna go down?
A ping dong again.
Where you are going to Baba do? Baba do ne ba to. Purur kwa. Kan Baba do.
Aye.
Purur kwa nuarga. Ajato. Agaran kwanki.
Hey,
yeah. Power her Baba do and kapi. This kati yata. I'm wow human. Bye.
Aye.
Anyim ngum. Melane chok. Melane big. Achi wal yuk. Kukichia machi yuk. Achi fin yuk achi melag yuk. Nya kul ka be chiol ka chincha. Man tiyo ka kere piyo ka ijar yerba. Go. Madin. Ya watak. Piyo atom to jiman majana. Epe gudi ni ba.
Because I was part of the struggle, I wanted also to be part of the nation building. I wanted to do that. So I took it upon myself, as I'm a citizen of this country. I wanted to see how I can contribute to the people of South Sudan. And at the same time, I'm a woman. I'm a role model to the young ladies. So I wanted to mentor them in this job and to let them know that anything is possible. The young ladies, the young men, the youth in general, the women, we need to give them an opportunity. But now we are not doing that. What we call for, we are doing the opposite of that. What was being done unto us is we are doing it unto our people now. Even worse than what the enemy was doing to us. Yes, we have freedom, but can people eat freedom? Freedom has to come with some advantages to the people.
It looks like there's no peace on the other side of freedom. And home is not a place of rest. I still don't know what it means to be South Sudanese. I do know that my fears, doubts, and questions remain far beneath much bigger problems. That the promise of liberation and independence is not the reality of liberation and independence. I look to my mother, but now also to my sister and the young women who support their families by serving tea on the roadside. They're the quiet force keeping things from entirely falling apart. We've been 10 years free. Most of our compatriots are struggling to survive, and we're still holding our breath.
Songi bandikoye likambo na motema ngai na motema unu para kileba chulilo lutua